Remember in the debate the other night when each of the candidates was asked at the end, will you back the nominee even if it's Donald Trump? John Kasich was, the one who said, well, I think in the end it's going to be me. And he definitely got more attention the other night. And he has been more out there doing more interviews than he did when he started out in this process. And he definitely is the one up on the stage that could be called the adult in the room, and that's gotten him some attention. A lot of people think.
I'm a big fan of John. I think no one is more qualified in this group to be president than John Kasich. I'm just arguing the politics, having watched a lot of these races in the past, that it's about momentum and it's about moving forward and it's not about resume and it's not kind of a rehashing. I mean, he's obviously in a different world, and a lot of Republicans don't think John is conservative enough in this environment, and he's certainly not the anti-establishment candidate when the two front runners are anti-establishment today. That's my counterpoint.
Why is it, Monica, that Kasich and his team loves to tout the fact that they get newspaper endorsements all over the country, in fact, and there was another one that rolled in today? What is it about the media that likes Kasich and what they hear from him?
Well, he's a mainstream Republican. He's Republican establishment, so of course major media outlets which have endorsed Governor Kasich, he is definitely a Republican to their liking. He's a Republican that they can get with. The problem is that this is a virulently anti-establishment, sort of mainstream Republican years. So when these endorsements come into these candidates, not just Governor Kasich, but Senator Rubio amassed a huge number of endorsements. It doesn't help. In fact, I would argue that it actually backfires on these candidates.
You think so?
When you get endorsed by the New York Times, it's not a badge of honor the way it would have been in previous years. There's another very problematic thing to what you just laid out from Governor Kasich's team, and it also applies probably more strongly to Marco Rubio. The case that both of them are trying to make is, look, we can attract the late deciders. We can attract people who might be disillusioned with either Donald Trump or Senator Cruz. They will break to us. Late deciders will break to us. What you're seeing tonight with the two wins by Senator Cruz in Maine and Kansas, and now the tightening of these races, particularly in Kentucky, is that now Senator Cruz can go out and make the argument that late deciders are breaking for him. And that then feeds into the broader argument that this is essentially a two-man race.
Yeah, one of my Democrat friends say to me, the candidate I love is John Kasich. And I said, that's John Kasich's problem. It's the Democrats that love him and not enough Republicans. Again, he's a great governor. He's one of the stars of our party. He has the best resume and probably the most experience of anybody. But unfortunately, in this environment, this thing is rolling.
What do you think of the case Monica makes there about newspaper endorsements in a Republican primary just not adding up to anything? Why is that, Ed?
Well, it's a long history. I mean, Ronald Reagan didn't get any endorsements in the early days, and so my sense, it doesn't mean anything. It's less valuable today than it's ever been before.
Is it a distraction?
It can be used against you, but I would argue it doesn't mean a whole lot. And it just, I mean, give Christie the example. The paper that used to dominate New Hampshire basically endorsed him early on, and he ran, what, 6th or 7th in New Hampshire, and they've now pulled it back. So it's just, and all the papers back home have want him to resign. So I don't think newspapers have anywhere near the clout that they once did.
I mean, how about the fact that, Bobby Jindal in Louisiana backed Marco Rubio, but the Robertson family backed Donald Trump, and that seems to be holding more water. I mean, when you look at the sort of reality aspect of all of this, I mean, those are the kind of people that many in the country say, well, I can relate to them, and if he likes this candidate, then I'm going to like him too. I think these other guys in these newspapers hold no water with the way candidates are feeling today.
The major theme of this whole campaign is rejectionism. It is the conservative base, it's the Republican voting base by and large, rejecting decades of the ruling class, the establishment, and whether that establishment comes in the form of Jeb Bush or now perhaps Marco Rubio, or whether it comes in the form of newspaper endorsements, there is a wholesale rejection of the donor class and the ruling class that has disappointed and betrayed this voting base for decades on end.